What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, a wild week. How are you?
I would say I'm doing as strongly as I've ever done before, very strong with, I would say, top strength. Although I want to let everybody know, all of our great fans, that the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey, under Executive Order 69, we are destroying it after they lost what might have been the greatest episode of podcasting in the history of pod or casting. And it was a real disgrace. It was probably the deep state. It might have been Sleepy Joe. It might have been AOC. AOC, that rhymes with Stress Factory. And I think she might have gone there with her ample Puerto Rican bosom and messed up our great show. So we had such a great show. There were so many people, and yet at least 250 of our fans socially distanced away from the club just to make sure everybody had enough space. So it was one of the great nights in podcasting history. We talked about great New Jersey people. I wish we could go back to that, because when I talked about Judy Blume, it was one of the great moments in show history. You agree?
Definitely.
You weren't even there, and that's how great it was.
I heard about it.
So a disgrace, but we'll make it up. Well, I don't know if we'll make it up, but we'll see what happens.
We do have a special guest joining us for the beginning of the episode tonight, and she was one of your best employees ever, besides your daughter, of course. And she was a mouthpiece for you. She was former White House press secretary.
Excuse me. That's my nickname for melatonin, the mouthpiece. Okay, so it's in our prenup. It's in our prenup that she's got to do the mouth stuff. So. No, I don't like that term. I know who you're talking about, okay? And I think you need to show her more respect.
Okay. Former White House press secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders is joining us right now. Ms. Sanders, how are you?
I'm so glad to be here. I just love you so much, Mr. President. And I just want to give you a socially distant hug, or as I call it, a Huckabee. I'm going to give you such a big old Huckabee right now. Mr. President, I missed you so much.
You know what? I would love a Huckabee. Maybe some dry hugging. Is that a thing? Maybe that's as great Christians, dry hugging, dry hugging.
Just your sense of humor is just something else. I mean, I have missed that. We are very dry at the Huckabee house, but it is. You just keep them coming. You got a lot of hits, a lot of good hits.
Well, if you keep dry hugging, there will be coming. The whole point is, Kristen McAfee, or whoever she is, the little blonde that does your job, she's trying. I think she gives a great effort.
She's trying. She's trying my nerves sometimes, but she's trying.
But she doesn't have what you have. She doesn't. I mean, nobody's even close. This is outside of Ivanka. And obviously, Kellyanne Conway was a strong fighter as well.
She's strong. She is strong.
But nobody's stronger than you. You are. If we had a Mount Rushmore of Trump associates, it would be me 3 times, followed by Big Huck.
That's so beautiful. I can see it. You paint a picture. You're like an artist, like a painter.
Question about that mountain. The 3 Trumps, would they be different eras of Trump or different activities of Trump? How would it be?
Okay,
curious.
That's actually, well, look at that. The broken tech stuff guy is right twice a day. That's actually a good question. I will say that the first one would be sort of young real estate Donald Trump. The second one would be biting my lower lip, partying with Jeff Epstein dance face of Trump.
Classic.
The third would be scowling presidential Trump. And then the fourth would be Big Huck's considerably large face with some pearls.
Oh,
You remember? Real pearls, not the.
I get it. Ms. Sanders,
Not fake pearls.
They're not fake.
I don't know.
I totally know what you're gonna say.
You know it, but I don't know what the tech stuff guy's talking about.
I didn't say anything. I was just asking Ms. Sanders a question.
I think you came in with sort of, I know what you interrupted me very rudely.
If I were still in my job, I'd have White House security escort you out. I'm just saying.
Ms. Sanders, you have a memoir coming out. Is that correct?
It's out. Yeah.
It's out. There's a part that people are talking about.
We are in the process of buying 500,000 copies so that you get to the bestseller.
Bestseller.
That's
and you know
nice
what they do?
you.
The New York Times books, they try to insult us. Like when Don Jr.'s book went #1, they put a little cross next to it, and they mean what they put that in is to say, oh, bulk sales. They try to make you look bad. But we know the cross means great Christian author.
Christian purchases. That's right. Christian author, Christian purchases. Go ahead.
But Ms. Sanders.
Next question.
Yes. White House communications staffer Josh Raffel, I'm sorry. You called him, and I quote, a liberal, aggressive, foul-mouthed Jew. Can you please explain that quote?
Which part is the problem? Is it foul-mouthed?
As the kids would say, I heard that, and I would say, facts.
I mean, who can argue with that? The president has spoken. Look, I wrote what I wrote, apparently, and there it is.
Do you think it's appropriate to call someone a foul-mouthed Jew?
Does he use foul language?
You could call him a foul mouth.
Is he a Jewish person? Is he a Kushner?
He is. I'm
okay,
assuming.
Well then, I mean, that's called facts. Now they hate facts. Do you hear this? The liberal tech stuff people. They hear facts, and all of a sudden they don't like facts. Next thing they'll tell you 2 + 2 is not nice.
There it is. And I'll say this, I don't have a lot of friends of that particular persuasion in my life, relatives or anything, but I do have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, who you may know as the most famous Jew.
That's true.
Well, you would agree Ivanka's getting pretty close.
It's an even race.
120%, 110, 120%. Yeah. Absolutely, 125%.
Now,
Ivanka.
What we really wanted to talk to you, I want to talk to you about, Ms. Sanders, is that you and the president, you traveled to internationally. You traveled internationally plenty of times.
Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305.
Do you know?
That's Pitbull. That's
yes.
Pitbull, by the way. I didn't know. I don't think you knew who that was.
Now, they don't play that at my church. I don't know it.
Ms. Sanders.
He's Cuban, so we like him. He's sort of very light-skinned, and Cubans, vote very strongly for Trump. So we support Mr. Worldwide.
Now, Ms. Sanders, I want to know what world leaders have you met throughout your time at the White House? Or any favorite world leaders besides Mr. President? Yes.
Well, I was going to say my favorite one is Donald J. Trump. But I have a few favorites. I met the guy from France.
France. Have you?
Macaroni.
Met the guy from the woman from Mr. President, maybe you want to jump in here.
Well, they're not that important. You already said Mr. President. And is there anybody really? Do you have to sort of state?
I remember more like a pastiche, like a collage, like
that's not a problem.
Sands of Time, because it's.
Do you remember going to
memories.
Do you remember going to North Korea?
Oh, I remember North Korea. Oh, I remember Kim. I thought I was going to meet a woman. Show up.
Now
it's a whole other basket of worms. I tell you what. What
do you think of Kim Jong-un?
Well, I'll tell you, sometimes you bite into a candy and you think it's going to be strawberry or a cherry. And it turns out to be raspberry.
It's
And you didn't think
disgusting. I would sue those candy makers so fast your head would spin.
well,
You give me
that's
a raspberry candy.
so. Kim was kind of like a raspberry. He was kind of like an unexpected surprise, but not a deal breaker.
So you had some sort of chemistry with the leader.
Oh, I would say chemistry. Yeah, I like candy. I love candy. I mean, I love my husband Brian with the Y, but we had fun.
You know what they say though? What goes on in North Korea usually gets your uncle blown apart by military aircraft weapons.
Is that the saying there?
Plus, I had never sung karaoke before, and it was so much fun.
Now,
it was a lot of fun.
I can tell you, see, Sarah's being very strong and very humble, okay? And very Christian, by the way, very strong
thank
Christian.
You. Thank
very
you.
Loyal to her
Put
husband.
that in my notes. Thank you. Thank you.
But I will tell you, Kim Jong-un, he wanted a piece of Huckabee pie. If you know what I mean.
Well, I didn't want to go there, but yeah.
He said, "I want some pecan Sanders." Okay,
it's a kind of candy. It's a kind of candy. If you didn't know that, Mr. Bob Tech guy.
You wouldn't. I mean, I think we could have gotten him, and I wasn't going to make Sarah do this. I joked in a very serious way.
He was totally joking. People who took that out of context, like he was joking.
We had the papers drafted up by the Secretary of State, and we discussed very thoroughly the negotiating. It was, remember Indecent Proposal? Remember that movie?
Yes, I do.
Wills, won't, can'ts.
It was like that. Okay, yeah. It was
shouldn'ts.
I was like Woody Harrelson, except stronger and more handsome.
Of course.
Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un was like Robert Redford. And then Sarah Huckabee Sanders was Demi Moore Sanders for Owen. And we almost negotiated, but I gave her the final choice. And I said, we could probably get rid of nuclear. He loves you so much. Because you have to understand, not only does he love the sort of Christian, the Christian beauty is sort of forbidden fruit because they're a communist, atheist country. So she represents, she prays very strongly. And they're sort of, she's like forbidden fruit.
Mm.
On top of that, she's strong. She's tough.
I could lift him.
So when Kim sees that, it's like he sees this great character, this great strength that she has as a person, but also she's the Christian forbidden fruit. So I said, if you get rid of all the nuclear weapons, you get a weekend with Huck.
Now, I have read, Mr. President, that you said to Ms. Sanders, take one for the team. Did Ms. Sanders take one for the team?
Wow.
Well, no, excuse me. That's a lady and a Christian you're talking about.
Wow.
And the answer is no, because it was not going to be one for the team. It was actually going to be an agreed upon 5 occurrences during a holiday weekend.
Wills, won'ts, can'ts, shouldn'ts.
And it was, they couldn't negotiate. We tried, believe me, we tried. But it didn't work out. And I have great respect for Sarah. But just so you know, we could have gotten rid of all the nuclear weapons on North Korea if she had just been willing, to give him one more chance. Remember Biggie? He had the one more chance.
Rest in peace. Look, for a lot of this, I did think that Kim was a woman. So I was entering into I thought talking territory. And the further we got into it, it's just not my cup of tea. Not my candy box.
So the rumors of something happening are completely false, correct, Ms. Sanders?
Completely false. Completely false.
Mr. President, the rumors that something happened with Ms. Sanders are completely false?
No, I can tell you right now, and I would never make Sarah do anything she didn't want to. We have too much respect for her. But because I respect Kim, my wife, mesothelioma, gave him a hand job.
Well, that's
I don't know
very
anything about that,
charitable.
but
That's very charitable.
Well, it's not charitable. It's called it's called,
it's called
don't want-
diplomacy. It's called diplomacy.
it's called, thank you. It's called diplomacy.
Well, I appreciate Ms. Sanders coming on and you clearing that up for us. And I want to wish you luck on your memoir.
Thank
The
you.
book
I'm not going to need it, but thank you.
Okay, no problem.
We're going to
And
buy so many copies of that book your head will spin. You're probably going to get 5 copies sent to you, tech stuff guy.
that's awesome.
You'll be
And,
tired of winning. So tired of winning.
Mr. President, do you have any parting ways for Ms. Sanders? I know you haven't seen her in a while.
I need Sarah Huckabee Sanders back in the White House because when we were going through that impeachment hoax, leading up to it, she was such a strong, such a powerful shield for the president. And now we don't have that anymore, and things are getting crazier. They're making more false stories. And if I had 5 Huckabees, I wouldn't need the U.S. military. That's how tough she is. That's how patriotic and Christian and tough she is. And
thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I want to give you a Huckabee. I really want to give you a Huckabee. I miss you so much.
We're gonna get rid of this COVID, and I'm glad to see you're not wearing a mask while we do the Zoom.
No, I'm a patriot. And I do believe that before November 3rd, you're going to come out with a solution. You're going to show everybody. I think you have a solution now. I wouldn't be surprised. Waiting on the timing.
I need you at the second inauguration. When I get inaugurated, you are invited VIP.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to go to Ross Dress for Less right now. Start shopping.
I don't know what that is.
Pull
it
it all
sounds
out.
Poor, but we'll see what happens.
Going to TJ Maxx.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Sanders, for joining us. And Ms. Sanders, where can all our listeners find you on social media?
Well, there is a rogue website called SharonSpell.com. It is very left of center, and it's wild. It is wild. It is like a totally different person who is not who I am, but you'll find some interesting information there, like Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.
So SharonSpell.com.
And don't forget QAnon. Don't forget QAnon.
Don't forget it. You may not find QAnon there, but you may not find it.
And I'm not gonna say that Huck isn't Q. Huck could be Q.
Well,
I do my hair.
Ms. Sanders,
get a good deal at TJ Maxx.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you are welcome.
You can go to SharonSpell.com and at SharonSpell on Twitter to possibly speak to Ms. Sanders. Thank you so much, Ms. Sanders. Good luck again with your memoir. And
I won't need it, but thank you again. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
I miss you, Huck.
I miss you so much, Mr. President.
I hate being president without you.
A lot of people feel that way about you, sir. I don't know why. You're so strong. You're so strong. Just stay strong.
Like you are. Thank you.
All right.
So that was Miss Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and it brings us to our sponsor this week, Mr. President, the very powerful and strong BetOnline.ag. Mr. President, we're in the swing. Football season is starting this week. We have hockey playoffs. We have basketball playoffs. We have MLS. We have UFC, baseball. Every sport is going right now. The wait is finally over. That's right. Football's back this Thursday You may not be at a game this year, but you can still be in on the action at BetOnline. BetOnline is going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any place online. You can get in on their season opening bonuses today and start off wagering on win, division, and championship futures today. Head to BetOnline online today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. That's where I place my bets. BetOnline.ag. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Now, Mr. President, you have a friend, well, an ex-friend named Michael Cohen, ex-lawyer of yours. Familiar with him?
I would say a total scumbag and an absolute disgrace. But no, I don't know him very well, no.
You don't know him very well.
He was a bad lawyer, but he was sort of a loyal dog. And then, when he realized he could sell a stupid book, he started lying like a disgraceful person.
Are you going to read his book?
I don't read any books, okay? So why would I start with his?
Are you going to listen to it?
Like an audiobook?
Yeah.
Who's going to read it?
No, it's already pre-recorded with someone's voice, and you just play
Well, I
it.
want to know who's doing the voice.
I'm not sure, but I can find out that information for you when we end the podcast. There are some things in Michael Cohen's book that are a little disturbing. Maybe you can tell us about it. There was a time, I think it's 2016 in Trump Tower, right before the election, when you invited a bunch of evangelical priests to Trump Tower. Do you remember this?
Great faith. One of the great faith gatherings we've ever had.
Now, they do a thing where they all put their hand on you and they pray for you. Do you remember this?
The amount I felt such strong prayer coming through. I think that I'm actually sort of more receptive to prayer because I'm such a great Christian. I think I get more prayer, more prayer per pound. Is that a thing? I think that's sort of a religious thing. Prayer per pound.
Now, so you're telling me that when a priest or someone prays for you, more religion and more prayer goes into you than the normal average person because you're just so righteous.
I think I'm very, they call it the religious right. I call myself the religious righteous.
That's interesting. So you remember this time. Do you remember after they finished praying, you left the room, you turned to Michael Cohen, and you said something to the extent of, who believes in this fucking bullshit? I know I don't believe in this bullshit. They must be crazy. Do you remember saying anything like this to Michael Cohen?
How could I, as one of our great Christians, maybe the greatest Christian of all time, how could I even say that? How could I say such a thing? I think you're a disgrace for even asking that question. How could I say that? I have great love of Santa, of the Easter Bunny, of the Jesus, of
the
Yamaha, which is what the Jewish people call God. They call him Yamaha.
No, it's a yarmulke that you wear on your head. Yamaha is a motorcycle. Yamaha is also a piano or a keyboard. Yamaha isn't anything religious.
No, it is. The Jewish people say Yah. Oh, no, they say Yuhu. They, instead of God, they say Yuhu. It's different. Okay, I'll give you credit on that one. It's a little different. But I would never say such a thing. I have, as I'm showing you right now, I have such great knowledge of our great Christian faith. I would never call our evangelical people, okay, anything less than great Christians. I mean, some of them maybe aren't so great, but I think a lot of them I felt it. They should have, they like pulsed the prayer through my, strong skin.
Who has the strongest prayer out of all the evangelicals that you have met?
That's a great. I mean, well, Big Gay Mike Pence is, I don't know if there's a stronger prayer warrior than Mike Pence, because you should see him when he's going to pray. He works out. He oils himself up because he says he wants to be extra strong for the Lord. And I've seen him grease up inside and out. He just says, I've got to be ready for the Lord to enter me at any time. I don't think you're going to get a stronger prayer warrior.
So he's all greased up for the Holy Spirit to enter him any way possible.
That's how Christian he is. He's saying, I get emotional when I think of our great vice president. He comes out, he's smooth, he's oiled up, he's fit. A lot of people don't realize how fit he is. He works out, and he comes out there and he just says, he gets on his knees and sometimes on all fours, and he says, I'm ready. I am ready for you. Take me how you want me, Lord. And the man is a power. We call him the powerhouse of prayer, Mike Pence.
The powerhouse of prayer, not the powerhouse bottom of prayer.
Well, that's the full name. You don't always say the full name of the.
What a religious man our vice president is.
Incredible faith. I'm so impressed with him when I see how faithful he is.
Now there's a very disturbing picture that came out and story from Michael Cohen that you hire a Obama impersonator to sit. You're nodding your head, yes. To sit across from you, and you just berate him and insult the Obama impersonator. Is this true?
Let me explain to you.
Please.
The Obama impersonator, I can't tell you how strong it feels to have a guy sit there playing Obama and just yelling the N-word at him for 15 minutes. It is so I think the feminists would call it empowering. But then at the end, and this is when I really got mad. I wasn't mad at the impersonator. It was all fun and games. Just sort of, it was more lighthearted, okay? More fun.
Screaming the N-word at him. It was lighthearted?
It was. But when I really got mad at him, when I actually got mad and the game was over, is like a strong evangelical Christian. I'm not evangelical, but I feel I have a strong bond with them. I asked him to plow melatonin while I watched. And he refused. And I thought, that's a disgrace. And now when I go to like Roger Stone's next party, they're all going to laugh at me going, you couldn't even get, the fake Obama to defile your wife while you watched. What kind of Christian are you?
But you paid the impersonator. How come he wouldn't do this?
No, he was a very tough negotiator. He wouldn't accept. I offered him an additional $20.
I think you're going to call him something else besides a negotiator. Okay.
Well, that's a good one. There might be a way to slip it. Well, anyway, I offered him an additional $20, and he wouldn't take it.
So an extra $20 to have sex with your wife while you watched, and he wouldn't.
Well, you've seen Mylanta. She's a gorgeous, statuesque model. You should pay me. Well, that's what we used to do at parties. But, I know she's 50 now and it's sort of expired goods, but people should be paying. In fact, that's how that was going to be one of our fundraising activities for the re-election. They used to have $10,000 a plate fundraising dinners. This was going to be $20,000 a shot.
It was like a gangbang for Melania that you pay for, like a dinner.
Basically,
it's genius,
right? Because you're going to get higher. For food, they might give you $5,000 a plate, $10,000 a plate. There's people who pay $100,000. By the minute. You charge by the minute instead of. But it's. But they have these very tough financial laws, and they don't look. The fake news would report that, and it's a disgrace. We need to change our finance laws so that melatonin can do her part to make America great again.
Help with your fundraising. I agree, Mr. President. Besides the Michael Cohen book, you had some remarks for the troops, and I'm giving you
excuse me.
Yes.
Nobody loves our troops more than me. Their own families don't love them as much as I do, okay? Nobody cares more, and I mean this, okay? Nobody cares more for our troops than me.
There are people saying that you are a draft dodger. There are people saying that you have made disparaging comments about the troops, saying you are not a real soldier if you are killed in battle, if you are hurt in battle. Are any of these statements true? That's gross.
No, when they come back all missing the limbs, it's disgusting.
That's horrible, Mr. President. They were fighting for our country.
Well, no, and it's okay, and you should stay inside. No, we have great TVs. We have Netflix. We have snacks. Okay, we have everything you need is inside. Don't come outside to the party.
So you're saying that if you were in battle and you lost any limbs or have any
I wouldn't be in. Excuse me, I wouldn't be in battle because I'm not some dumb fuck redneck who gets caught into war and volunteers for stupid service in conflicts. I'm not some dumb fuck Mountain Dew for brains evangelical piece of shit who goes, I'll volunteer for the. What kind of dumb fuck goes to a foreign country when we have great pussy and great TVs and great snacks in America? We have great fast food. Why would you go to some jungle or some desert to fight some gross ethnic people? Okay, well, what the amount of stupidity it would take to do that. I don't even possess that on my worst day. So what were you asking? What was the question?
I was asking if someone was lost a limb in battle, or they're scarred, or have maybe missing an eye or something, they should not come to the party. They should stay inside and not be seen by anyone.
I mean, they shouldn't be invited to the party, but sometimes you have to invite people to be nice. And we're nice people. But I would ask them very nicely to stay in the bathroom, and then we'll lock them inside the bathroom. And then when the nice, beautiful people leave, we'll let them out. We'll let them sort of eat the scraps at the dumpster. When the nice people, the beautiful people who have all their parts, have eaten and enjoyed and done had sex and whatever we do at our parties. And then around 2 a.m. we let all the wounded people out, and we say, okay, enjoy. I think there's still some leftover steak if you're lucky. And I think that's the way we do it. Why? What, is that okay?
That's fine. I just wanted to clear that up and how you felt about the troops. And I think you
no, nobody loves, I can't be clearer than I am when I say I love our troops. I love our country. These are our finest people defending our freedoms, and I will always defend our troops. I will always fund our troops, and I think they are some of our best people.
Mr. President, I have two more stories for you to cover, and then after that, we have some questions that were sent in from our MPGAs out there.
You hope they're MPGAs.
We do hope that
It would take real balls to not give us a 5-star review and then still ask the president a question.
I agree.
That would be
You
a
know,
Mapigger with a hard N.
that's right. And you could just go on iTunes and leave a rating and a review, and that only helps us with the algorithms for iTunes. We'd appreciate that. And also, while you're at it, check out our new website, mpgapod.com, and our new
They're
YouTube
calling
page.
it the greatest website in the history of internet.
I agree.
Ivanka nudes coming soon.
That's awesome. Now, Mr. President, you talked about your good friend Shinzo Abe on the live podcast, and some listeners were upset that what happened with the live pod, and they heard that you were talking about Shinzo Abe. Can you tell us an update? Did you speak to your friend? Can you tell us about the conversation? Please give us an update.
You know, it was tough last week, and it hasn't gotten any easier to talk about. Shinzo Abe, as you know, if you listen to the show, is, I'd say probably my best friend among the world leaders. I respect him greatly. He's done a great job with Japan, and he's a very nice guy. He's actually a nice guy. So I respect him because he manages to lead very strongly while also being nice, which is a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing. And when I found out he was sick, I had to call him. I called him up, and he picked up the phone. And I said, even though he's sick, he's still got that strength. He's still got that strength. And he said, and I said, Shinzo, it's Donald J. Trump. And he said, Mr. President, I am sorry I cannot continue to lead while you lead your country. And I said, that's okay. I'm better than you. And he started to tear up because he was saying, that he wasn't, it's a recurrence of what he has. And he was getting upset. And I said, Shinzo, it's okay. I'm going to be okay. And and he was getting very upset. And I said, I'm going to be fine. When you go, don't worry about me. I will be over it within 5 minutes. So don't worry, your best friend, because that's what he was so upset about. He said, I couldn't, he started to, when he gets very emotional, it gets even deeper. So he was saying, my family. And I think he was saying something about his family, but I knew that what he really cared about was whether I would be okay when he goes. And I told him, I barely remember you. That's how well I'm going to do when you're gone, Shinzo. So we remember him very strongly and very powerfully, and we hope he gets through it. But if he doesn't, I think he'll go very nicely knowing that his best friend, Donald Trump, is totally okay.
Well, that's really nice. You got to speak to him and wish him well. Now,
No, I didn't wish him well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, he's retired because of health. Wishing him well has not worked. So I didn't want to waste, as somebody who's very powerful with prayer, I didn't want to waste one of my strong Christian prayers on him because I don't think he's doing well. I want to save it for people who maybe, I prefer leaders who, my prayers can sort of be on the winning side.
I understand. That makes sense.
Like when I take Ivanka to the surgeon and I pray for bigger breasts, those prayers get answered very strongly.
That's right. So I understand your reasoning for this. Now, Mr. President, Candace Owens, she is a strong supporter of you. You did not ask her to speak at the RNC, which a lot of people thought was a snub, and she continues to support you so strongly. Did you hear about her beef with Cardi B?
No, what happened?
She called Cardi B's new song WAP. Have you heard of this song, WAP?
White ass Protestants. I like it.
No, it's not white ass Protestants. Do you have another guess for what it means? It's
White ass pussy.
it's wet ass pussy. Yes, and the song is definitely very graphic. And Candace Owens,
I feel like that's what Mike Pence calls it when he's greased himself up.
he calls himself WAP.
But he gives it like he doesn't say wet ass pussy. He says wet ass pussy. It's all in the inflection, what you mean by it.
I understand.
As a strong Christian, I sort of speak the evangelical. It's called speaking in tongues.
Yes, I know you spoke in tongues. That's amazing.
No, I don't speak in tongues, but I think Pence does sometimes at the truck stops.
Now, Candace Owens and Cardi B are going at each other. Candace Owens says that Cardi B's music and songs are bringing black people back years and a bad influence for black people. Cardi B said that she is owned by white people, and they keep going back and forth with this.
Well, I'll give Cardi B credit. I hope so. I thought Candace Owens would be like, remember the movie The Toy with
Yes.
Richard Pryor? I thought me and Candace have that sort of relationship.
That she's your toy?
Yeah, I just bring her around places. I pay her some money, and then she says what I want her to say, and she's very good.
Yeah, well, her and Cardi B are having beef, but I'm telling you, Mr. President, she will support you and have your back until the day she dies. So that's some good news for you, Mr. President.
No, it's great. It's my version of The Toy.
Candace Owens is your toy. Now we have questions sent in by the listeners. These are some powerful questions.
Well, I would hope so.
First, I'm going to go to Twitter, and this is from at that's Dylan _Dylan. Mr. President, sir, what are your plans this week for the 19th anniversary of when you strongly and toughly achieved the distinction of owning the tallest building in Lower Manhattan, sir?
Never forget. You can't ever forget that. It was, what I'll do is we'll probably fly into Lower Manhattan. Not give any warning, just, when you're president, we'll just take Air Force One right down into Lower Manhattan just to let everybody know we're coming very loudly. And then we have a buffet around the Trump building in Lower Manhattan. And we commemorate 19 strong years of the tallest building in Lower Manhattan. It's a great honor. Hashtag never forget.
Never forget what? Never forget the building?
Right. Never forget.
But never forget your architecture. Is that what you're talking about?
Just never forget that we have the tallest building in Lower Manhattan.
Okay. I don't know if that's what you should not be forgetting, but that's fine.
Well, believe me, if there was something else I should remember, I would remember it because I'm the one who came up with hashtag never forget. So I would remember it.
You were the originator of hashtag never forget?
Yep.
I did not know that. That is very interesting. Congratulations. You should have made some money off of it.
Well, we'll see. We're going to sue some people who've been using it for something else.
No. The next question we have here, this comes from at Clantastic. This might be a friend of yours. What do you say? This is two questions. We're going to let him have two if you decide. What do you say to those who lost their boats during the parade over the weekend. There was a parade in Texas in the lake there, and lots of Trump supporters had a parade and their boats capsized. And what do you have to say about the parade?
I think, I don't think it's so bad. If I'm disappointed they didn't drown. No, because we're in a battle for our great country. Okay, Sleepy Joe wants to destroy our country. He wants to let AOC titty fuck us out of prosperity. He wants to destroy our great country. He wants the squad to show up and make it all black. And we're not going to let them. And we need strong warriors, okay? And if you can't ride your fucking boat, you're too weak. We're better off without you.
It was a lake. It wasn't even an ocean. It was a lake.
No, it's these. And I say this with, to prove how strong I am. Of course, we should get rid of all the Democrats and the libs, but we also need to get rid of the weak Trump people. If you can't float your fucking boat in a lake, just go away.
Do you want to hear his next question? If you want to answer it, and what's your favorite dinosaur?
What does this have to do with anything?
I don't know. That was the second question. That's why I said he had two questions.
Okay, well, that's a weak second question, but my favorite dinosaur is probably Sleepy Joe Biden.
Now, these questions here, we actually have one more from Twitter, and this is at Brad Hansel 01. President Trump, are your American taxpayers going to be reimbursed?
He's lucky. Excuse me. He's lucky I'm answering because I didn't hear a sir.
I agree. Are your American taxpayers going to be reimbursed the millions of dollars your COVID team wasted on unusable COVID testing supplies sent to state governments by unvetted contractors?
No.
That's it.
No, we're not. We've done great work with COVID. We've done, I'd say, better than whoever that was. He certainly hasn't done as good a job with COVID as I have. And no, we're not reimbursing everything because it's strong. You can't find the cure and you can't find the test on the first try, but you have to have many people working on it. It's obviously that's somebody who doesn't understand great science or strong business.
Hear that, Brad Hansel? Educate yourself. Mr. President, this is a guy who sent in lots of questions from Instagram. He always gets his questions answered by you. Vandalay Industries, and if you could only have one of the following, which would you choose and why? Strong Second Amendment or tremendous peace and prosperity?
Well, here's the thing. Okay. Without strong Second Amendment, was it strong Second Amendment?
Strong Second Amendment or tremendous peace and prosperity?
No. If you don't have a strong Second Amendment, you can't have peace and prosperity, tremendous or otherwise. So I say always strong Second Amendment.
That makes sense. This next one from Aaron K. Green. Mr. President, I see that you are attempting to prevent critical race theory from being taught to kids and young adults. For those aren't familiar, can you explain what critical race theory is?
Well, I will say that I'm on yahoo.com. And it says the theory analyzing, so it's probably something Pence likes, analyzing the role of law in the maintenance of white supremacy. Who?
Supremacy. I think the C is
let me tell you something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means, okay? The role in the there's no white supremacy. I mean, there is. We have great white supremacy, but No, it's a totally anti-American thing. It's a disgrace. Critical race theory is a joke. Okay, I don't like. I don't like it.
Well, there you go. Aaron K. Green, Mr. President, does
Because
not like it.
there's no. You're criticizing race on the basis of theory, and I don't like that.
That makes sense. Mr. President, we have 2 more questions from Instagram. This is from 12 by R3X.
Are there any Instagram models or sort of big-titted Instagram people asking questions? Because I think we should. That's who's going to get for October.
Mm-hmm.
If your profile pic has big breasts, priority questioning.
Okay, I will sift through for big breasts, Mr. President. This is a great question here.
Fake or natural, we don't discriminate. That's called critical breast theory.
Now, this question, long time a pigga, first time Patreon patriot, Mr. President, sir, happy Labor Day, powerful employment numbers. Any plans for VP Pence to visit our strong laborers to boost morale?
No, well, that's a great question. And Pence actually, for Labor Day, okay, he actually went to a place called the Mine Shaft. And I think that's where our great coal miners work. And he went to the mine shaft and he said he was going to put in work. That's the way he put it, which you've got to, when you have a vice president, okay, who works so hard for his country, for faith, okay, for great faith, who's willing to still, on a day off, go to the mine shaft, and he was, he was going to get me, he was, he was dressed in leather, so he was going to work hard. And he said he was going to put in work on a day off with our great laborers. I think that's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. That is a great vice president. Our last question, Mr. President, comes from MCMXC_kid. This is not very political. It's advice for you, Mr. President. Since you are a ladies' man, this is advice. My barista never wears a bra, Mr. President. What is the course of action I should take to not notice, but also not make it obvious that I'm averting my gaze?
Well, speaking of gaze, if you're averting your gaze from a great braless set of cans, allow me to introduce you to our Vice President, Mike Pence. I don't know why you would avert your gaze. I think she wants the gaze.
That's why she's not wearing a bra, right?
Not wearing a bra. And probably if she's in a coffee shop, they probably have air conditioning on. So she's probably at attention, if you know what I mean, if I can talk about our great troops.
Taking a playbook from Ivanka's. Taking a page from their book.
Which barista titties, I think is what we'd call that. No, I think that you shouldn't avert your gaze. I think there's a rule we had in the 80s. If you're not wearing a bra, you want to squeeze. If you're wearing a short skirt, you don't want them to say please. It was a very simple sort of, rhyme scheme we'd come up with. Just
a code of conduct.
A total code of conduct. So stare away, maybe even tweak them a little bit if they're coming out to say hi. Feel free to check the radio dials, and it's a beautiful thing. So I think you shouldn't avert your gaze. I think it's rude to avert your gaze.
Mr. President, Thank you so much again for joining us this week, and all the Mapigas out there. We appreciate you sharing and the listenership going up every single week. Please check out the website, mpgapod.com. We got t-shirts for sale on there. We have a new YouTube page with unseen clips from the podcast. Check out betonline.ag. Football starts this week. Our patreon.com/mpga. And of course, thank you to Sharon Spell today, who was Sarah Huckabee Sanders. You can check her out, sharonspell.com and at Sharon Spell on Twitter. Check out our social media at TrumpPod, at JL Colvin, and at JNog. Thank you very much, everyone. And Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Well, this was we were a little disappointed last week, but I think we came back with great strength today. And hey, guys, it's JL. How are you? Great. Thanks for listening. Sorry again about last week, but we have a great month planned. I think I didn't get confirmation from Jay, but I know that our bonus episode, which are usually the insanely most, just the most popular at Patreon episodes available to every Patreon level, Rosh Hashanah, I think. We're going to find out, hopefully, a new Fred Trump tradition from the Donald.
Is the shofar going to have something to do with it?
The who?
The shofar, the ram's horn that they blow.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I'll have to do some research, I guess.
There you
go. But that'll be the bonus episode. I guess that'll go up like that Friday. We'll record it before then. And then we're going to do another live Q&A episode after the first debate, which I believe is September 29th. So our plan is to do a live Q&A. So that'll be like a double episode week. Not nearly as exhausting as the convention weeks, but if you enjoyed that and spread the word, then September and October will feature more bonus material as well. So long way of saying thank you for your support. Keep sharing the word, keep spreading the word. If you haven't, give us 5 stars on whatever platform you listen to, and God help us all.